Hey, what's up, people? It's your boy, Coach Ricardo, and I just wanted to dive in here this morning and talk about something that I thought, hey, definitely got to let those of you that are following this effective living platform dive into a study that I've been working on that I think is worth looking at. On your journey to living life effectively, you're going to discover that there are principles, laws that must govern your life to help you to get what I call effective living. Your goal is to figure out what is it that I need to know to help me to live my best life. One of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to establish certain foundational truth that's going to be what's going to guide you. The unfortunate thing is that there are a lot of people who have identified certain principles to live by, but it's not the healthiest of principles. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that the principles you're living by, that they're working for you, not against you. Okay? Today I want to highlight the importance of you and I learning to accept the fact that we can forgive, but we ought not forget. Mhm. We can forgive, but we ought not forget. In our pursuit to allow ourselves to win in every area in 2021, you've got to get to the point where you start to assess your life and identify what's working for you and what's not working for you. Okay, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result. So, whatever you do, you want to make sure the things that you're continuing to do are the things that's working for you. Now, there are a lot of people who have been bite, they've been burned, they've been abused, they've been bruised, they've been abused, they've been outright just taken advantage of. And there are some people who push the envelope and challenge them to forgive them. And I think forgiveness is healthy. Let me say it again. I think forgiveness is healthy. I think forgiveness is necessary for effective living. However, I think it's important for us to understand that we need to remember what's going on in our lives, what has happened in our lives, and understand that if you don't study what has happened, it's bound to happen again. So there are a couple of things that I want you to start focus on. I believe that in life, you have to identify the sweetest, the most enjoyable, the most memorable moments in your life, and you need to ask yourself, why, how did that come about? Okay? You want to know what made life come alive for you in that particular moment. But equally so, it's important for you to know what went wrong when someone did you wrong, and now you need to be able to establish what was that all about. You need to know, you need to remember, you need to learn from anything and everything that has occurred in your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are some people that's going around in circles because they're not prepared to study. They're not studying themselves enough to do the work to get past where they are. What I'm saying to you is you need to know what's working for you and you need to keep pushing towards more of that. And you need to know what's not working for you or what's damaged you, what's hurt you, what's affected you. And you need to learn the lesson that you're supposed to get from that so that that don't continue to repeat itself. Okay? Remember, guys, you are on a mission with me here on Effective Living. The goal is to win in every area. 2021 is the year for winning in every area. Now, if that's going to be the case, you got to tell yourself, I'm going to learn how to deal with people. And there are some people that would have done you wrong, and you have to learn how to forgive. You're going to have to learn how to forgive. But learning how to forgive must bring you to a place where you realize forgiving and forgetting is two different things. Okay? Forgiving and forgetting is two different things. Forgiving is not forgetting. Okay, forgiving is not forgetting. Forgiveness does not mean that you approve the behavior or forgot how it affected you. You want to basically remember, okay, that's not good, and I don't want that to happen again. Okay. My mother said to me years ago, I remember, she says, listen, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But fool me 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 times, then maybe I'm stuck on stupid. Why am I continuing to allow myself to be taken advantage like that? It's because a lot of times people play us for this forgiveness card. And so we've mixed up forgiving and forgetting. We've mixed them up, and you got to learn how to establish that forgiving and forgetting, they're two different things. I forgive you, but I won't forget what you've done. So what I've done is I made a list of positions that one should establish in your pursuit to engage yourself with healthy relationships, accepting the different positions that people will find themselves. In other words, forgiveness means you're not going to carry any form of bitterness that's going to overly affect your future. You don't want to affect your future. So what you're going to do is you're going to establish the act of forgiveness based on the situation. It's going to be determined based on the situation. So sometimes forgiving means embracing a person after you've forgiven them. Okay, I'm going to embrace them. I'm going to love them. I'm going to still walk with you. But then there is a time when this can move from embracing to, you can find someone, you forgive them, but now you have to help rehabilitate them. You got to get them to a place where they're going to need help. Okay, you'll meet that there are some people. Okay, they have a problem. You notice the problem. They've asked for forgiveness. You want to forgive them, but the problem is not going to go away because you've forgiven them. They need help. And so you may need to help rehabilitate them. And then there is sometimes forgiveness is imprisoning them. They're going to be held and charged for what they have done, but yet you're going to still forgive them. You're still going to forgive them because that's who you are. You're a forgiving person, but you've been given a memory for a reason. Don't lose your memory in the midst of forgiving. Okay? Don't lose your memory in the midst of forgiving. You got to tell yourself that forgetting is a memory, forgiving is a virtue. I want to continue to grow with virtues. I want to establish myself to have healthy behaviors that will make my future brighter than my past. But my memory has been given to me for a reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my memory for the betterment of my future. Okay? It doesn't mean that you're going to allow your memory to be overtaken to a fault. Okay? Don't allow your memory to be overtaken to a fault. Your goal is to identify, okay, what has happened in your life, do an assessment on it, look at the very core root of all that has happened in your life. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you want to be able to say, okay, where did I go wrong here? Where did I go wrong here? What could I do a little bit different here? What can I do a little bit different here? And then overall, the goal is to start establishing practices that will bring you into a place where I know what happened. I'm now deciding to forgive, but I'm also going to establish 1 or 2 or 3 of these particular ways on how I'm going to deal with the situation. In other words, the act of forgiveness is determined by the situation. Okay? The act of forgiveness is determined by the situation. Forgiveness means you will not act out of resentment. You're not going to act out of resentment. You're going to get to the place where you're going to grow and you're going to become better and you're going to guard your heart so that you are not affected over the long haul. There are too many people that are walking around with unforgiveness. If you're trying to live life effectively, please know forgiveness is necessary for effective living. Okay? Forgiveness is necessary for effective living. I must say it. Let it go. Let it go. But what I must also say is don't forget. Learn the lesson that should have been taught or captured in the experience. Because if you don't learn the lesson, chances are you will repeat the class. And you don't want to get older finding yourself repeating the same thing that you should have discovered the principles from it when it initially happened and say, okay, I know not to go that way anymore. I know not to go that way anymore. So my goal for you today is for you to understand you're on a journey. Your journey is to discover principles and laws that's going to help you to live better. One of those principles and laws is that effective living requires you to forgive. You're not going to live effectively if you don't learn to forgive. But you must remember, memory is necessary for you to study and assess what has happened in your life up to this point to ensure that it doesn't repeat itself. Okay, to ensure that it doesn't repeat itself. You don't want to continue to go around the same mountain when it comes to dealing with toxic people. You don't want to find yourself going from one problem back into the same problem, back into the same problem, because what are you doing? You're forgiving and you're trying to forget, when the goal of forgetting is not there for abuse use. Okay, it's not there for abuse you. So I'm going to forget what he did. I'm going to forget what she did. If that's going to cause the abuser to continue to abuse you, then you're not using forgetting for its rightful purpose. You got to know that I'm going to forgive you if you ask me to forgive you, but I'm going to remember to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Because if it happens again, Houston, we have a problem. And now I need to move beyond where I'm now embracing you. I'm not going to embrace your forgiveness. I'm going to have to either help you get rehabilitation, or I'm going to have to make sure that you get imprisonment. In other words, I'm going to call the law. If it's legal, I'm going to call 911. You go into jail, okay? Yes, I've forgiven you, but you're going to pay the cost. You're going to pay the consequences. There's going to be a penalty for your act. This is what healthy people do. It's important for you to guard your heart. It's important for you to renew your mind. It's important for you to identify what is the healthiest of practices that you can engage in on a daily basis that's going to help you to learn how to win and how to work your life in a favorable way. Everything is going to work itself out for you favorably if you start to engage yourself in understanding the principles that you have to practice on a daily basis. You can't just keep forgiving and forgetting and expecting life to get better for you when it comes to dealing with people. Some people will take advantage of you time and time again. So you must hold on to the memory of a bad experience, get the lesson that you need to learn out of that experience, and tell yourself, that's not going to happen to me again because I'm too smart for that. I'm too wise for that. I now have the spirit of discernment, and I also have the experience of having seen how things play out. So I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to look it all over, and I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work to make sure that I'm not the person that finds himself going through the same thing over and over and over. At some point, you got to say enough is enough. At some point, you got to say enough is enough. And if you're on a journey with me, thank you very much for those of you that are watching me right now and have subscribed to this channel. If you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe. If any point that I said stood out to you, give me a thumbs up. Give a brother a thumbs up. I want to help. And I believe every principle that you discover that can help you to get along this life's journey in a more effective way, I want to be presenting that to you. The goal is to make this platform a platform that opens the eyes, helps to renew the mind, and puts you on a track for engaging in better practices that's making your life work for you. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller. If you have not gotten my book, go ahead and get the book, Effective Living. I talk about forgiveness in the book. There's so much in that book that will help you to take control of your life. That's really what it's all about. Forgiveness is necessary for effective living. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.